April 13, 2021. The time is now 5:33 p.m. This meeting of Georgetown County Council is now being called to order, and I see we do have a quorum. Mr. Carolina will lead us in our invocation, and he'll also, well, he'll give us the invocation. Then he will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Will you stand, please? Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you this hour asking for your blessing and help as we are gathered together. We pray for guidance in the matters at hand and ask that you clearly show us how to conduct our work with a spirit of joy and enthusiasm. Give us the desire to find ways to excel in our work. Help us to work together and encourage each other to excellence. We ask that we would challenge each other to reach higher and further to be the best we can be as good stewards of the land and resources for the citizens of Georgetown County. We ask this in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Carolina. We'll move down to the approval of the agenda. It is recommended that items that Report 15A and Report 15B be moved forward on the meeting agenda to follow the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the meeting agenda with the recommended change?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we approve the agenda with the recommended changes.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? With that change, then we'll go down to 15A on the agenda with the nonprofit presentations. And our nonprofit spotlight will begin with Smith Medical Clinic.
So thank you very much. I'm Ann Fall. I'm the director of Smith Medical Clinic, and I'm thrilled to be with you today to talk about how Smith Clinic is literally helping to make Georgetown County better. I want to start off by saying that we are a free medical clinic. We are volunteer-based and volunteer-run, so we have over 200 volunteers. In 2019-20, we took care of about 2,106 patients. And I'm going to take this opportunity just to highlight some of our specialty care that we provide, because many people know that we do provide complete medical care, like general and preventive, but I wanted to highlight some of the specialty stuff that we're doing right now. So in that same time period, we provided over 500 cardiology appointments. We have four cardiologists that come to the clinic every month to see patients. Our pharmacy, we have an on-site pharmacy in Pawleys Island. It dispensed over $2 million worth of medicines, free medicines for the patients that we take care of. We had over 8,500 visits last year, which is the highest per patient number of visits in all of South Carolina clinics, and that's because we have 10 specialties under our roof. So a patient kind of walks through our door and they get their general care, and then we have several specialties within our own volunteer base that they would see for that care. A third of our patients have diabetes, so in that time period, over 700 patients received one-on-one counseling and education for diabetes, all the testing materials that they needed for free. Some of them are running a small pilot right now with continuous glucose monitors that are web-enabled, so we're doing some cool stuff around diabetes. We had over 400 patients who received vision exams, and of those 400 patients, over 300 required prescription eyeglasses, which they received for free. And then I'm really proud of the care that we're providing for the women in our community. Can say that we hit 100% of the women who are eligible to have screening mammograms received those screening mammograms, and then they also receive any follow-up diagnostic care up to and including treatment for free. So those are some examples of what we're doing. I want to highlight that in the time period I'm talking about, 88 cents out of every dollar donated went direct to patient care. So not administration, not overhead, direct to patient care. We're really proud of that number. One of the things we're doing now, I was telling Charles before we started, we are right now administering COVID vaccinations in our clinic. We have Moderna, which is a bit of a trick because it turns out there could be 11 doses in a vial. And once you puncture a vial, you have 6 hours to give all 10 or 11 shots. So if anyone knows anyone who needs a vaccine, we have extra shots almost every single day. In fact, yesterday our nurse coordinator took her act on the road, took a vaccine over to the ice cream shop and gave that lady a vaccine because she couldn't get out any day before 10 o'clock. And then she went to Food Lion and gave a shot to a guy who was bagging groceries. So, spread the word. Next slide. So people are always excited to hear what Smith Clinic is doing. Of course, I could talk for hours and hours. That's why Jackie made me have slides. But I try to be succinct and say, really, there are 3 ways that anyone can help Smith Clinic. First and most important is tell everybody that you know about Smith Clinic, that we're there. We have a location in Georgetown. We have a location in Pawleys Island. If 1 in 4 adults in Georgetown County is low income and does not have health care, you cannot go through a day without meeting somebody that needs to get care at Smith Clinic. So tell everybody you can. Don't let anybody go without care. Second way is to volunteer yourself. If this work is something that touches your heart, that you would be interested in. I know we probably don't have very many doctors or nurses here today, but we have all kinds of administrative positions as well. So volunteer. And again, encourage everyone you know to come and volunteer with us. It's a wonderful experience. And then the third way, as with all nonprofits, is to support us financially. The things I've been talking about, that complete medical care, medicine, specialty appointments, surgery, all of that we're doing for $250 per patient per year. $250 per patient per year. So our annual giving program is called Patient Partners, where for a contribution of $250, you're basically sponsoring a patient's care for a full year. So I just want to thank you again for the opportunity to talk and brag a little bit about what Smith Clinic is doing. Remember, tell everybody you see about Smith Clinic. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Fall, for everything you and Smith Clinic does for the residents of Georgetown County. We really appreciate your services. Next, we have another nonprofit, Black River Cypress Preserve.
Thank you, Chairman Morant and council members. My name is Erin Pate, and I am working with the Black River Cypress Preserve, and I appreciate your time tonight to talk about the Black River Trail and Park Network, which you may or may not have heard of yet. I was telling Brian before we started tonight that Georgetown County's greatest asset, what I believe is its economic differentiator, is its natural resources. And unlike our neighboring counties, Charleston and Horry, many of Georgetown County's most special places have been conserved into perpetuity. And during COVID, but I would say increasingly more going forward, people are looking for those quiet spaces outside, to get outdoors, to be safe, to be with their families, and to recreate outside. Over the last decade, there's been a consistent effort to conserve property along the Black River. And there's been 25,000 acres of riverfront land on the Black River that has been conserved over the last 12 years, with more being planned with a riverine state park that's going to be coming online in the next year or two. Tonight I'm representing the Black River Cypress Preserve, which is a 1,000-acre privately owned preserve and park in western Georgetown County, just outside of Andrews off of Highway 41. The Cypress Preserve opened a year ago. Even despite COVID, we were able to host small groups and lots of individuals, mostly local, but we had a lot of visitors from Charleston and Myrtle Beach and Murrells Inlet that wanted to drive over and just, walk our trails, hike, bike, or kayak. Councilman Newton has been out and seen the property. Councilman Goggins has been there as well. And Mr. Funny was out not too long ago, a few weeks ago, to get a tour of the property. If we could move on to the next slide, please. This is the entrance to the Black River Cypress Preserve. As I say, it's privately owned by a foundation that is headquartered in New York and headed by a gentleman who fell in love with the Black River and really wanted to give back to the community and conserve the property along the river. I'm going to come back and tell you a little bit more about the Black River Trail, but I want to introduce Emma Boyer with the Winyah Rivers Alliance, who's here representing Rocky Point Community Forest, and give her an opportunity to say a little bit about her property.
Man, I wish it was my property. Thank you, Erin, and thank you, Chairman Morant, and the rest of the council members for allowing us to speak this evening. I have the privilege of bragging about Rocky Point, but I certainly can't take all the credit. Partners like Beth Goodall with Parks and Rec and countless other conservation organizations working in the area made it happen. So I get to brag about it, but I'm not here to take all the credit. Hopefully most of you are familiar with Rocky Point Community Forest. It's a county park in the Choppy community on the Black River. And after being an important community gathering place for over 70 years, public access was closed in 2006, and prompted by that closure and the community's response, and recognizing the importance of the land and its history, Winyah Rivers Alliance, the county, and a team of other partners developed a plan to permanently protect and reopen Rocky Point, which was achieved in 2018. At that point, our vision was conservation, recreation, and education, and that became our mission going forward. Today, the property consists of 650 acres plus of diverse habitat, passive recreation opportunities, and a very rich cultural history. And it's all managed by Georgetown County as a park and overseen by a steering committee of Winyah Rivers Alliance and several of our other partners that worked on the project. Along with being adjacent to the county's Choppy recreation campus, the amenities also include a refurbished boat landing, park and picnic area, a new kayak launch, and a primitive network of trails that is being revitalized very recently and as we speak, and will be unveiled by an event put on by Georgetown Parks and Rec on Earth Day. So that's next week, April 22nd at 3. So I do encourage you to come out and enjoy the nice new refreshed trails out at Rocky Point. For its stewards, protecting and sharing Rocky Point's past was just as important as a priority as the conservation of natural resources. The cultural significance of this land is evident in the 200-year-old Coachman Family Cemetery, the relevance to our region's Black history, with it having been a segregation era family resort for the Black community, and also in the stories of locals talking about the 4th of July picnics that the community hosted out there, the stories of the simple joys of a rope swing, that is no more, and adventures of young children in the woods. I hope that some of you have those memories of Rocky Point, and over the past several years I've developed many of my own. So not only is it a special natural resource, but the cultural resource is just as valuable. While Rocky Point is like many of our other county parks, it is unique in that it is one of the few community forests in the region. That means that the forests is sustainably managed for ecological health and restoration, and it generates a modest revenue to be reinvested in the property. It also means that the forest can serve as an outdoor classroom for forestry students and forest landowners. While still a work in progress, the community has been reconnected with Rocky Point, driven by our mission of conservation, recreation, and education. In continuing to pursue this mission, we are taking on a next chapter, which will not only elevate our efforts at Rocky Point, but it will also connect Rocky Point by way of the Black River to a network of partners through a new exciting initiative that will serve not only Georgetown County, but its neighboring counties in really new and exciting ways. And Erin is going to take it from there. Thank you.
Thank you, Emma. And I, you know what, I would ask that for the slides, let's just go ahead and advance to that. This is a photo of a trail at the Black River Cypress Preserve. The trail's 2 miles out, 2 miles back, and it's swamp side. Go ahead and advance again. This is a picture of Rocky Point and the entrance there, and a couple shots from there. Go ahead and advance again. That's also Rocky Point, various pictures from there. And advance one more time. Okay, so this is a slide that shows the state parks in South Carolina, and you'll notice a circle on there, and that is highlighting a real gap of where state parks exist. And you may have read in the Post and Courier, they've covered it extensively over the last couple of weeks, what is being called now the Black River Water Trail and Park Network. This park and ecotourism initiative is going to include multiple park sites along the Black River from King Street all the way down to Rocky Point, and will include a new state park. It will be the first new state park in our state in 20 years. The state park will include, over time, multiple non-contiguous park sites along the river, so that if you were a paddler, you could start in King Street, you could paddle to one of the state park parcels, you could probably camp there, either tent or cabin camping. You get back in your kayak the next day and you go down river to the next park. The Black River Cypress Preserve is part of that network. Rocky Point is part of that network. And we're excited about the opportunity to attract new visitors to western Georgetown County and in Williamsburg County as this new park really gets underway. There are a whole lot of agencies that are part of this initiative. It includes the State Parks, Recreation, and Tourism Agency, the Open Space Institute, the Nature Conservancy, the Butler Conservation Fund, the Winyah Rivers Alliance, King Street, Andrews, and Georgetown County. There's an example, just to give you, of sort of some of the impact that this is already having. King Street received some grants to build and upgrade their landing there. They've got an educational spot. They're going to have a farmer's market. All of this is along their riverfront park. And they're rebranding themselves as the crown of the Black River, because that's where the state scenic Black River begins. Western Georgetown County and the town of Andrews have a fantastic opportunity for new ecotourism opportunities. And as this area continues to grow as a local and regional destination, we hope that visitors coming from the beaches can sometimes choose an inland opportunity, an inland outdoor experience. You've got a packet of information that Teresa may have given you right before the meeting started. Just quickly, what you've got in there are copies of the articles from the Post and Courier that appeared over the last couple of weeks. You've got a community survey, a link, a QR code that will take you to the State Park Community Survey and their website. They are seeking input from citizens on what a state park should look like, what kind of amenities should be there, what do people want before they start planning. They want to hear from residents and others who would be visiting there. You've also got a copy of the Black River Management Plan, which is a DNR and community project. And then you've got information on the Black River Cypress Preserve and Rocky Point. So at this time, we're just going to play a very short video, and then we'll end our presentation. If we can go ahead and play that, that would be great.
Well, I think first and mainly, the river belongs to the citizens. They ain't owned by one person. It belongs to all the citizens that live up and down this river.
The Black River is a classic coastal plain river. It runs about 150 miles through 5 counties in South Carolina.
It's a very special ecosystem. We have ancient cypress trees and plants and animals that are kind of hard to find in other places in South Carolina.
It's not just the river or the edges of the river or the landings. It's also the uplands and the watershed. The river is the gem, it's the diamond. But you gotta have the rest of the setting for the ring to show off the diamond.
Our community uses the Black River for multiple things, fishing, hunting, kayaking.
We swim in these waters, we eat the fish from the water, we drink the water. It's certainly core to all aspects of our life.
If you look at the map of all 47 South Carolina state parks, the biggest hole you'll find is right here, right where we are.
So the Black River Initiative is about connections. It's about connecting people to the river, and it's about connecting sites along the river. We have a 70-mile stretch of the river starting in Kingstree, South Carolina, and multiple sites along the way that are in various stages of development as parks. We don't know what the offerings are going to be for the river yet. We want the community to engage in this process and tell us what they'd like to do, whether it be picnicking, or camping, or fishing, or hiking, or biking, or flying a kite.
This is our opportunity to create something not only for today, but also something planned for our future.
It's going to bring the community together. It's going to give them something that hasn't been seen in South Carolina in 20 years.
Lots of tourists come for our beaches, but we hope that folks will start realizing the very special adventure that awaits them on the Black River.
We invite council to come out. I'm hoping to get y'all out there as a group sometime in the not too distant future, and we'll roll out the red carpet for you. So, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Pate and Ms. Boyer, for spotlighting the beautiful natural and cultural resources of Georgetown County. Thank you for that. We'll move on down to our public comments. County Council sets aside 30 minutes at the beginning of each meeting to allow for public comments. Members of the public who wish to address council during the public input period should sign up with the clerk of council before the meeting is called to order. Madam Clerk, are there any speakers this evening? No speakers. That's fine.
Thank you. Thank you, Law. Just wanted to speak on, we did receive, or we are fighting for grant money for the White Creek area, for our flooding and whatnot, and I think we were trying to get like $800,000, but I still ask the council to really consider, especially if we don't get this money, that $3 million that you have left from the 1 cent sales tax to please look to giving us some of that money. We talk about the Black River just now, but you know, we got the White River right in our houses. We don't have to go to the Black River to do all of that. We can do all of that right in front of our houses when it rains. So I'm begging you, I'm gonna come back every week, losing money on the job, but I'm gonna come back every meeting and beg you guys to please, please, please consider giving us some more money out of that 1% sales tax that y'all still have left, that from my understanding you haven't made a decision on. We don't want all, we just want what's fair to us. We want to come out of our house and not have to swim to our cars. We want our kids to be able to play and not fear them drowning in ditches. Please, 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 and thank you.
We'll move on down to the approval of the minutes from our last meeting. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the minutes from the last meeting, and that was March 23rd, I believe.
Yes. Is there a second? Any discussion? All in favor of the minutes being approved? Okay. There were 8 procurement matters included on the consent agenda, which have been approved by virtue of the agenda approval process. That's contract number 19-034, contract number 20-038, contract number 20-038TH, and contract number 20-038-SC, that is. Procurement number 21-013, procurement number 21-016, procurement number 21-027, procurement number 21-028, and procurement number 21-030. We're now going to our public hearings. The public hearing regarding ordinance number 21-09. The floor is now open for comments thereon. Having heard no comments regarding public ordinance number 21-09, the hearing is now closed. We move on down to the public hearing on ordinance number 21-12. The floor is now open for comments. We will have 2 speakers regarding that particular ordinance. Mr. John Marcarelli, I think he'll be speaking virtually. And we'll also have Mr. Luke Wilkinson.
Thank you very much. Can everybody hear me okay? You can, Luke? Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. My name is John Marcarelli, and I am Vice President of Business Development for Silicon Ranch. We appreciate the opportunity to speak to you, to the commissioners, and the local community about the Lambert 1 and 2 solar projects. Wanted to provide a little bit of background about our company and our approach, and then hand it off to my colleague, Luke Wilkinson, to speak about specifics and answer any questions about the project sites themselves. So Silicon Ranch is a developer and owner-operator of renewable energy projects. We are based in Nashville, Tennessee. We are one of the largest independent power producers in the country, and by the end of this year, we will, our operating portfolio will include approximately 150 projects across 14 states which will total over 1.6 gigawatts. We're very excited to pursue a project opportunity here in Georgetown County. I wanted to speak a little bit about the few of the characteristics that differentiate us from others in the industry, and South Carolina is a very active solar community, so I'm sure that many of you have experience in some form or fashion with solar projects, but I would like to speak a little bit about how our approach, we're very proud of some of the things that differentiate us. We develop to own and operate our projects for the long term, and additionally to own the project sites on which our projects are located. As such, we take our roles as stewards and long-term community stakeholders very seriously. We have a 100% execution track record, which means that for every project that we were awarded, have been awarded a power purchase agreement to either serve a utility or a large commercial industrial off-taker. For every one of those projects, we have successfully completed on time. We approach, as in this case, where we are, this will be our first project and first projects in South Carolina. As we seek to enter a new market, we are very much not speculative. We call ourselves customer-led, which means that when we decide to pursue opportunities in various geographies, it is either because of insights gathered directly from our potential project partners or through detailed research into the resource planning processes of the utilities or the state-run organizations. I'll turn this over to Luke shortly, but who again will talk about the specifics of the Lambert project sites. But one aspect of our approach, of which I am personally very proud, and I know that my colleagues share that pride, is that oftentimes we are the first project of its nature in a community. And I would say that almost without exception, and certainly more often than not, we have been asked to come back and pursue additional project phases. And that speaks to how we look to embed it in the communities and add value just beyond what the energy that these projects produce. And recently we did a tally of this and figured out that over 60% of our project opportunities come from either repeat or referral business, and of that we're very proud. I'll open this up to any questions, or we'll gladly turn it over to my colleague Luke to talk about the project itself.
Thanks, John. I'm Luke Wilkinson, the Vice President of Project Development at Silicon Ranch. My team's efforts are surround our site efforting. And for these particular projects, we were able to partner up with a timber company that had a tract of land that's just a little bit over 2,000 acres and had access to the grid infrastructure required for this type of development. And so we've found historically that timber sites end up being a great place for solar, because once all the trees are cut down, you are planting trees again and waiting another 20, 30 years before that next crop can come to fruition. And so the trees are already getting cleared regardless of what comes next. And so coming in as a solar project after that is a great way to take cleared land and put it into a higher value use right away that will last another 30, 40 years on a similar trajectory, but produce revenue every single year along the way. And so we've got a purchase option, as John mentioned. We do purchase all the land underneath our assets. It allows us to both invest in the project, but also be a investment in being a community member long term. And so we're excited about this opportunity. We thank you all for having us here today, and let us know if you have any questions.
Well, good afternoon, Mr. Richardson and Mr. Marcarelli. We're very much happy to see a project come to Georgetown County, and the proposed location happens to be in my district, District 3, so very happy and welcome. We'd like to see your project move forward and develop and bring a needed industry to Georgetown County. My question is, compared to your other projects, and this is a 2,500 acre layout, how does this compare with other projects that your company has?
So are you speaking of project scale, sir? So this would reside among the larger projects that we've done in across the country and certainly in the Southeast.
Okay. Any others in South Carolina and in the proximity to Georgetown County?
No, sir, not that we have developed.
And to add on to this, so we have several projects in Georgia that are this size, and then another couple that are under construction that are larger than this one. So we have a ton of experience on the construction and operations side of these size projects. So from that point of view, this will be about our 8th or 9th of this size.
Okay. How does that equate into jobs, number of employees?
So during the construction period is when you see the job activity. And so on a project this size, you're looking at hiring labor in probably around the 350, potentially up to 400 jobs for the duration of the construction period, which lasts approximately 1 year for this size project. With these projects being built simultaneously, those numbers, I'm trying to be a little bit conservative because I don't want to promise overpromise and underdeliver. So I feel we have seen those numbers be higher than that on some of these size projects, but the timeline and schedule kind of dictates a little bit of how many we hire. And historically, about 80% of those labor jobs have come from the local labor pool. So we work with our contractors to host job fairs locally. In the time of COVID, we have done virtual job fairs, and we've worked with the community development groups in those areas to help host those, to make sure we get out the word to anyone in the local labor force that would be interested in a construction job.
Okay, thank you.
This is Bob Anderson. I'm another counselor. Just curious, how many solar panels are you going to need on this site, and where are they going to be coming from?
Oh, goodness. I can do a quick calculation, sir. I didn't come prepared with that information.
Well, that's fine. I didn't mean to embarrass you. I was just trying to get a scope of this work. And
while John does his math, I'll take the second part of that. So the panels that we choose, we have a number of different panel manufacturing partners that we've used historically. Hanwha is one of those, First Solar is one of those, and the panels that they make come from a combination of their US-based facilities and then also potentially from their facilities overseas. First Solar's got a big plant up in Perrysburg, Ohio. So we do get some of our panels from that facility, and then I believe the rest of their operations is in Malaysia. And then Hanwha just opened a large factory in Dalton, Georgia, and we have done a number of projects with their panels coming out of Dalton.
Thank you.
Can you give an explanation on, once the solar farm is up and running, explain the selling of the product? You have a solar farm. How will people from Georgetown County benefit from a solar farm being in our county? Upselling the product to what major utility, electricity utility, and how do the property owners in Georgetown County benefit from that?
Yes, sir. Just to answer the prior question, it will be roughly 600,000 modules between the two projects. And so, yeah, in the normal contracting structure, Silicon Ranch would, again, develop, own, and operate the solar project and then sell the energy to the utility through what's a long-term power purchase agreement. We usually expect them between 20 to 30 years with renewal provisions. The energy that, and I will say that the reason that we cited the projects or desire to cite the projects in this location is because of the infrastructure to be able to deliver that energy effectively to the local community, and if as needed beyond that, if there's not, if there's additional load that can be served external to the immediate location. So the general rule of thumb is that energy is like water; it goes immediately to the nearest point of use, and then we'll sort of trickle down to the or outward to the next point of use. So the households in Georgetown County and the immediate vicinity, as well as businesses, will be the recipients of the energy of this project. I think that as a rule of thumb in your area, the transmission infrastructure is operated by Santee Cooper, and Central Electric Power Cooperative is their largest consumer of what they manage. So you're looking at about 25% plus or minus to Santee Cooper, and the balance 75% to Central. So we would expect that the distribution cooperatives to be the recipients of the bulk of the energy we produce.
And in terms of how you all benefit, so the power is paid for by the end use customer at the agreed upon rate, and then obviously they sell it to other folks. But the way that the local community benefits is from the increase in tax payments from this particular piece of property. My understanding is that the tax revenue from timber tracts is nice, but not nearly as nice as what you see on a solar farm that's operating for 30 years. So you'll get that cash influx from our tax payments, and then also just on the real land and property itself, we're purchasing that, so we pay the real estate tax on that as well.
So one other thing I might say is that if you look at the long-term resource plan of both Santee Cooper and Central, as well as other utilities in South Carolina, they've been directed to not only bring more renewables into the state, but also seek cost-saving measures. It's now widely known that solar energy is among the most cost-effective technologies. So the ratepayers of South Carolina are going to benefit long-term by these cost-saving measures, and that is that's publicly stated and at the direction of the with the investor-owned utilities of the Public Service Commission, and in a sort of, call it a dotted line, Santee Cooper and Central have also sought to similar kind of approach to their integrated resource plan.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Any further comments regarding ordinance number 21-12? Hearing none, the floor is now closed. The floor is now open for public comments pertaining to ordinance number 21-13. Hearing none, the floor is now closed. The floor is now open for public comments regarding ordinance number 21-14. Hearing none, the floor is now closed. The floor is now open for public comments pertaining to ordinance number 21-15. Hearing none, the floor is now closed. We'll move down to resolutions and proclamations. We have resolution number 21-06, which will be presented by Mr. Ray Funny.
Mr. Chairman and members of council, good evening. Today I'm before you to present the proclamation for National Public Works Week, which is planned for May the 16th through the 22nd of 2021. Public works professionals focus on services that are important to sustainability and resilient communities and provide for the high quality of life and well-being of the people of this community and around this country. The services that public works professionals provide are very important, and they are responsible for the rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's and our county's transportation, water supply, water treatment, solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities. We believe that it is in the best interest of this community, of the citizens of this community, of the leaders of this community, and our children of this community, that Georgetown County gain a knowledge of the particular interest and understanding of the important work that public works professionals provide our area. Since 1960, the Public Works Week's celebration was pronounced, and we continued to do that in Georgetown for the past 27 years. Today, we are recommending that council designate the week of May the 16th through the 22nd as Public Works Week. We believe that we are stronger together, and this year more than ever, that this is very important, that we recognize those individuals and those private enterprises that help us with that work. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Resolution number 21-06 reads as follows. On Stronger Together, National Public Works Week, May 16 through the 22nd, 2021. Stronger Together. Whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of Georgetown County. And whereas these infrastructure, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector, who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas it is in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children in Georgetown County to gain knowledge of and to maintain a progressive interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas the year 2021 marks the 61st Annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association, Canadian Public Works Association, be it now resolved, the Georgetown County Council hereby designates the week of May 16th through the 22nd, 2021 as Public Works Week. Be it further resolved, all citizens and civic organizations should join with representatives of the American Public Works Association and government agencies in activities, events, and ceremonies designed to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees, and to recognize the substantial contributions they make to protect our national health, safety, and quality of life. Is there a motion to adopt resolution number 21-06?
That motion.
Moved by Councilman Anderson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Johnson. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion passed. Thank you. We'll go down to proclamation number 21-07. I think I may have referred to that as a resolution. Okay, we go down to proclamation number 21-07, being presented by Ms. Jackie Brooke-Akers. Thank you.
Chairman, tonight we are asking you to make a proclamation in recognition of National County Government Month. We would like to proclaim Government Month in Georgetown County as well. This is an occasion that has been recognized nationally for 30 years now, but this is the first year that we have asked council to officially recognize it with a proclamation here. This year's theme is Counties Matter, and I believe the timing of this proclamation tonight is excellent since we have just finished discussing the budget and taxes, and we've just heard Mr. Funny talk about all the wonderful things that his departments do. So it's a really wonderful opportunity to highlight the extent of services that are really offered by Georgetown County. A lot of people, I don't believe, have any comprehension of exactly how much we do in all of our various departments. So the proclamation before you tonight outlines a lot of that. We hope it will really help residents understand all that their tax dollars are actually paying for. We are limited this year to the number of activities that we can participate because of COVID, obviously. We hope to introduce a taxpayer academy about this time last year for National Government Month. And obviously then the pandemic started, so hopefully that's something we can attempt again in 2022. We are, in conjunction with NACO, co-sponsoring a coloring contest, a drawing contest, so we are asking children throughout the county to participate in that by submitting their entries of artwork that shows why they think local government is important. So with that, I will allow you to get the rest of the details in the proclamation if you see fit.
Thank you, Ms. Akers. Proclamation number 21-07, County Government Month, April 2021. Whereas the nation's 3,069 counties, parishes, and boroughs serving more than 300 million Americans provide essential services to create healthy, safe, and vibrant communities. Whereas counties provide public health services, administer justice, keep communities safe, foster economic opportunities, and much more. And whereas Georgetown County and all counties take pride in our responsibility to protect and enhance the health, well-being, and safety of our residents in efficient and cost-effective ways. And whereas under the leadership of National Association of Counties President Gary Moore, NACO is demonstrating how counties matter, especially in supporting residents and businesses during the coronavirus pandemic. And whereas each year since 1991, the National Association of Counties has encouraged counties across the country to elevate awareness of county responsibilities, programs, and services. And whereas Georgetown County provides a wide range of essential services to its 62,000 plus residents, including maintenance of 975 roads and 328 miles of roadway, providing routine law enforcement, fire suppression, emergency medical services, technical rescue operations, hazardous materials response, water rescue capabilities, and general fire code enforcement across the more than 1,000 square mile area of Georgetown County, ensuring the county and its residents are prepared for any natural or other disasters and hazards that may occur, and maintaining plans that are enacted to respond to and help the county and its residents recover in the aftermath of such events. Over the last 7 years, the county's Emergency Management Division has coordinated a countywide response to 7 federally declared disasters, along with multiple other large-scale emergency events. Management and maintenance of more than 300 parks and facilities, including 79 public use athletic fields, 31 basketball courts, 31 tennis courts, 51 baseball fields, more than 20 miles of trails, 30 picnic shelters, 27 playgrounds, 12 community centers, 68 beach accesses, 27 boat landings, and 6 recreational centers. Overseeing more than 10,000 stormwater pipes, 5,777 junction structures, and 1,100 stormwater ponds. Responding to more than 300 mosquito control calls from residents each month during mosquito season. circulation of approximately 166,500 books and materials annually at county library branches, along with providing computers and internet that were utilized by members of the public 52,000 times in the year prior to the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, assisting approximately 20,000 veterans and their dependents in filing applications for benefits and services available to them, processing approximately 90,000 tons of waste per year at the landfill, and 350 tons of other materials, including recyclables and yard waste. Appraisal of more than 58,000 properties and maintenance of records of recorded deed sales transactions, providing comprehensive medical legal death investigation for more than 800 reported death cases annually, and much more. Now therefore be it resolved that Georgetown County Council does hereby proclaim April 2021 as County Government Month and encourages all county officials, employees, schools, and residents to participate in county government celebration activities. Is there a motion to adopt proclamation number 21-07?
Mr. Chairman, I do move for adoption of proclamation number 21-7.
Is there a second?
I'll second that, and I think you're going to need to take a rest after going through all of that. And you just scared me to death. I didn't know we were doing all that.
Yeah. Just wanted to read into the record. Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor for the adoption of proclamation number 21-07? Opposed? Okay. We'll move on down to resolution number 21-08, going to be presented by Mr. Brian Tucker, and hopefully he'll be the one to do this reading.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Chairman, members of council, I think you are going to be stuck with me for the next 7 agenda items. So Chairman, you can take a deep breath for a couple of minutes. Would like to cover resolutions 9C and 9D. Both of these resolutions are inducement resolutions allowing us to move forward with negotiating or discussing fee in lieu arrangements with Project Lambert, and that's, again, 2 different projects, so we've discussed this, I think, at first reading. Project Lambert has 2 distinct projects, Project 1, Project 2, not creatively named, but they did keep it simple for us. So we will have a resolution, an inducement resolution for each, which is what you see here. You will need to take action on those, and then we will get into second readings here momentarily. But again, the inducement resolution that you have in 9C and 9D, again, are just simply a technical requirement for us to commit to the fee in lieu. I'm certainly no attorney. I'll defer to our county attorney if there's some additional clarification. All right, I got a head nod. That's good. Any questions from council?
The fee in lieu, it's going to be based on the amount of investment into that project?
Yes, sir. And we're going to cover some details that the representatives didn't quite touch on when we get into second reading, so I can go through some of that math with you at second reading momentarily.
Okay.
Any questions to Mr. Tucker regarding resolution number 21-08? Okay. I think all council members have read the resolution, so I'm not going to read into the record at this time. Is there a motion for adoption of resolution number 21-08?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor of the motion to adopt resolution number 21-08? Opposed? Okay. Mr. Tucker, resolution number 21-09.
Same resolution just for the second project in Project Lambert, so it's identical to the one you just passed, so nothing new or special about that one.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Tucker regarding resolution number 21-09? Is there a motion to adopt resolution number 21-09?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of adopting resolution number 21-09? Opposed? Resolution adopted. We move on down to third reading of ordinances.
Yes, sir, that's me again. This would be third reading for the G2 Composites Fee in Lieu Amendment. No material changes since we presented to you at second reading. We did have to amend some dates just because we had a deferment because of the public hearing. Again, no material changes in that, but I'm happy to address any questions or give you a recap on that if any of you so choose.
Any questions to Mr. Tucker regarding ordinance number 21-09?
What is the time frame that they must meet their obligation for capital improvements, and how much? Can that be revealed?
Sure, for G2 Composites. So if you recall, the owner of the company, he also has two projects there. He is renovating the building that we commonly refer to as the Eagle Electric Building. He is well down the path of making those
Renovations.
making that building better. Yes, renovations, that's the word I'm looking for. He is well down that path. I would imagine that with the structure itself, he's probably 95% complete with those renovations. He has hit a snag in getting some of his equipment in from Italy, but that's the only snag with that. The second part of that project is the construction of the speculative buildings that are referenced in this amendment. He has, I think, 18 months to make those improvements. We estimate that investment's probably going to be $2 million or so per building, but we are trying to get through this step in the process for him to get the engineers fully engaged on the final design and plan for that building. So I think $10 or $12 million on the manufacturing part of the project, and then $2 million per building for the speculative product.
Is there a motion to approve ordinance number 21-09?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second. You gotta amend it.
Okay. Is there, may I get a motion to amend ordinance number 21-09 to incorporate proposed amendments made subsequent to third reading?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we'll first vote on the amendment. All in favor? Opposed? Okay. We'll now go to the main motion. Any discussion? I should ask. Okay. All in favor of the main motion? Opposed? Okay. Okay. We'll go on down to the second reading of ordinances.
Yes, sir, still here.
Okay.
We will deal with the next 4 items again. I will summarize these projects, but you will need to take action on each of the 4 action items. You have to take action on independently. So I will summarize them. Happy to address them collectively, but they will have to be broken down and taken action independently or separately. Item A and C are both associate the actual fee in lieu itself, and then items 11B and D are the multi-county park designation for Project Lambert 1 and 2. So again, there's 2 different projects, Project 1, Lambert 1 and Lambert 2. Each project has a fee in lieu and a multi-county park agreement. So both of those all 4 of those are on the agenda for consideration. You heard the public presentation from Silicon Ranch. I'll just sort of recap the numbers. Councilman Carolina, I think your question earlier was regarding their investment. We anticipate that their investment for both projects will be roughly $220 million, so $110 million per project times 2, $220 million would be the total investment. That will generate roughly $300,000, actually a little over $300,000 per year in new revenue for the next 40 years. So I think you heard Luke reference that in his comments. So with the fee and lieu in place, their net taxes paid to the county will be roughly $300,000 a year between now and I think 2059, if memory serves. And again, that's on the fee and lieu agreements. The fee and lieu does contain a fairly significant special source revenue credit that is quite standard or typical for large solar projects. The rationale behind that is that these solar installations don't tax our schools, they don't tax our roads, they don't tax our law enforcement. They are really just taxable assets without any draw on services that are provided by the county. So for that, to make them economically feasible, there is, as I said, a pretty significant credit, but that credit again gets us down to $300,000 plus a year in new revenue with virtually no burden on services. I think Luke or John mentioned one that they are expecting 300 to 400 construction jobs over he said a 12-month period, and that's 12 months per project. They estimate that if they're able to build these two projects simultaneously, there may be an 18-month window, so I've estimated 18 to 24 months on the construction period and roughly 300 to 400 jobs over that period of time, which I think would be a significant influx of opportunities for some of our existing residents. We have had lengthy conversations with them about their ability and their comfort level on securing that labor locally, and we've emphasized the need to do that. We certainly want to make sure that our residents have the opportunity to participate in that project. That is a summary of, again, of 11A and 11C, which is the fee and lieu agreement. 11B and D are technical requirements as well to designate this piece of land as a multi-county industrial park. As we've discussed before, that designation allows the company and the county additional flexibility and generally provides them the opportunity to compete for or apply for additional incentives at the state level. That's not so much the case with this project, but it has just become a matter of standard practice for us to designate a multi-county park when we do a new fee and lieu agreement. So we are trying to stick to, I guess, our normal practice at this point. With that, I'll take a breath and see if you all have any questions on any of those items.
Are there any questions for Mr. Tucker? It's my understanding that you just explained item 11A, B, C, and D. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Are there any questions for Mr. Tucker regarding either one of those items? And so we'll just take them and vote on them individually.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve ordinance number 21-12? And as you know, this is the second reading of the ordinance, so we'll need an amendment to incorporate the text since we just read into the record by title only at the first reading. So is there a motion to approve ordinance number 21-12?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Well, is there a motion to amend ordinance number 21-12 to incorporate the text?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
We'll have the vote on the amendment first. All in favor? Opposed? Now we go to the main motion. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passed. We'll go over to ordinance number 21-13. Again, this is second reading.
Move to approve second reading, approval on ordinance number 21-13.
Is there a second? Okay. Is there a motion to amend ordinance number 21-13 to incorporate the ordinance text?
So moved.
Is there a second? Any discussion? We'll vote on the amendment first. All in favor? Opposed? Now, we'll now go to the main motion. Are there any discussion? All in favor of the main motion? Opposed? Motion passed. We move on down to ordinance number 21-14. Again, this is a second reading. Is there a motion to approve ordinance number 21-14?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Is there a motion to amend ordinance number 21-14 to incorporate the ordinance text?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? We'll vote on the amendment first. All in favor of the amendment? Opposed? We now go to the main motion. Are there any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Well, motion passed. We'll now go to ordinance number 21-15. Is there a motion to approve ordinance number 21-15?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Is there a motion to amend ordinance number 21-15 to incorporate the ordinance text?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
We'll vote on the amendment first. Are there any discussions? All in favor of the amendment? Opposed? We'll now vote on the main motion. All in favor of the main motion? Opposed? Okay. We'll now go down to the first reading of ordinances. I think is where we are. And the ordinance will be read into the record by title only. It's ordinance number 21-16, an ordinance to make appropriations for ordinary county purposes for Georgetown County for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2021, and ending June 30th, 2022, to provide for the expenditure thereof and to provide revenues for the payment thereof. Committee report. Okay. Mr. Carolina, I understand you'd like to make some comments to council.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. My comments are just, in essence, to make us better. For those of my colleagues who've not heard the partial good news, the South Carolina House last Wednesday, April 7th, passed a hate crimes bill without any debate, putting the state one step closer to joining 47 other states with similar laws already on the books. The bill, which passed by a vote of 79 to 29, could become law by the end of the year if it passes the Senate. The legislation would specifically allow prosecutors to seek additional penalties for crimes committed on the basis of hate because of a person's actual or perceived race, color, religion, sex, sex orientation, gender, national origin, or physical or mental disability. Currently, South Carolina does not have its own hate crimes law. If a crime is committed on the basis of hate, state prosecutors can only prosecute the crime itself. However, federal officials could choose to step in and charge the offender under the federal hate crimes law, but that rarely happens except in the case of high-profile cases. The bill has broad support from the business community, law enforcement, and equality advocates. The University of South Carolina recently joined dozens of businesses who signed on to an effort by the South Carolina Chamber of Commerce to urge lawmakers to pass hate crimes legislation. Now, I'm requesting, Mr. Chairman, that we draft, sign, and send a letter to our senators, Sabb and Goldfinch, further encourage them to do all that's necessary in working with their colleagues in the passing of this hate crimes bill. My next situation is to discuss with council the formation of an ordinance making this display of a noose a hate act in Georgetown County. But let me summarize some incidents that have occurred in Georgetown County in recent years. As we talk about it, we make things better. We try to clear it up. We lead by example. Recently, in a Zoom meeting, We had a county employee who called himself double shaming an individual who had made an attempt to remove an air conditioning system from the new Sanford Library. At that meeting, he called the individual's name and showed a picture of the gentleman. This should not have been done. We had an incident where the state flag of Mississippi was flown from the rafters in the Howard Gym. We had a Waccamaw Regional County of Government's employee who made a suggestion to African American seniors that they should consider participating in a watermelon seed spitting contest at one of the senior centers. We had a county firefighter terminated when he posted negative comments on Facebook. And the last issue, as for the reason for the noose, was the display of a noose by a county employee on the rearview mirror in a county vehicle on county property. Now, what I'm proposing is that as elected officials, we must set a high standard in leadership to stop these actions. Otherwise, we show very deep-seated systemic problems in Georgetown County. Because of the noose incident, I request of my colleagues that we consider the passing of a resolution and/or an ordinance making the display of a noose an act of intimidation. Displaying a noose is a hateful act. It's meant to intimidate and harass. A noose is a racist symbol. It's intimidating to people of color, and it needs to be banned. The Anti-Defamation League considers a noose a hate symbol and how it's commonly used to intimidate people of color. Its roots lie in fear and hate. It reminds us of the 4,400 documented lynchings of African Americans between 1800 to 1950. A noose doesn't mean the same thing to everyone. It means something much more imminent, terrifying, and unacceptable to people of color. It is not okay. When we lead, Georgetown County will prosper and all will advance, attracting great businesses and people to our county. So again, I hope we can sit and discuss this matter and come up with a resolution and ordinance banning such a symbol in Georgetown County. Also, number 3 is as we go over our budget situation in the coming weeks, that we take a hard look at any excess money in helping the town of Andrews in the completion of their fire police complex. We just had public comment when a citizen came to make a request for the use of additional money in solving their problem of drainage in the Greentown community. And I hope we can look at all our projects and see how we can spread this money to help all areas of Georgetown County. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carolina. We will now move into executive session to receive legal advice and discuss contractual arrangements involving the purchase of property pursuant to SC Code annotated section 30-4-7082. Is there a motion to move into executive session?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of us moving to executive session? Okay. We now move to executive session. We are now back in open session. We need a motion to do the motion. Is there a motion to move back into open session?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? We're now back in open session. Oh, wait a minute, no. We didn't vote. All in favor of moving back into open session? Okay, all opposed? Okay. We're now back into open session. During executive session, a contractual matter regarding property purchase was discussed. No votes were taken, nor were any decisions made during executive session. Is there any further business to come before council? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Any discussion? We stand adjourned.